You finally found him, a high-value man, someone with ambition, emotional intelligence, a clear sense of direction, and the kind of integrity that's genuinely rare. The conversations are good. The connection feels real. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction, and then slowly, almost imperceptibly, something shifts. He starts taking longer to respond. The energy changes. He becomes a little more distant, a little less present. And you can't figure out why because nothing dramatic happened. There was no fight, no obvious turning point, no single moment you can point to. That's the thing about these mistakes. They're invisible. They're not the loud, obvious errors that everyone warns you about. They're the quiet, subtle behavioral patterns that operate below the surface, the ones that send signals you never intended to send. High-value men are perceptive. They pick up on things most people don't even realize they're putting out. And when enough of those signals accumulate, they don't make a scene about it. They just quietly begin to disengage. In this video, I'm going to show you the 7 invisible mistakes that cause the most desirable men to lose interest, sometimes before they've even fully realized why. Pay close attention, especially to mistake number 7. That one is the one most women never see coming. Before we get into the first mistake, if you want to become the woman that high-value men simply cannot ignore, subscribe to Female Magnetism right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss the psychological strategies that are going to completely transform the way you move in your love life. Now, let's get into it. Mistake number 1, over-availability. There is a version of being responsive and present that communicates warmth and genuine interest. And then there's over-availability. And the difference between the two is everything. When you respond to every message within seconds, when you're always free no matter when he reaches out, when your schedule seems to have no texture, no prior commitments, no life that was already in motion before he arrived, it sends a signal. Not that you care about him, but that you have nothing else going on. High-value men have full lives, demanding careers, close friendships, personal goals, passions they're actively pursuing. And on a subconscious level, they are drawn to women who have the same. The slight tension of not knowing exactly when you'll respond, of occasionally being genuinely unavailable because you're genuinely busy, isn't a game. It's a reflection of a life well lived. Don't manufacture distance. Build a life that naturally creates it. Mistake number 2, seeking validation. This one is painful to hear, but it needs to be said. When you frequently ask questions like, do you still like me? What are we? Are you losing interest? Do you think I'm too much? You are not being vulnerable. You are outsourcing your sense of worth to someone who barely knows you yet. And high-value men feel that immediately. They feel the weight of being responsible for your emotional stability, the pressure of being the sole source of your confidence, and it is suffocating. Magnetism doesn't come from needing someone to tell you that you're valuable. It comes from already knowing it so completely that the question never crosses your mind. A woman who is secure in herself doesn't need constant reassurance. She receives compliments gracefully and moves forward. She doesn't chase confirmation, she attracts it. Mistake number 3, the future focus trap. There is nothing wrong with wanting commitment. There is nothing wrong with knowing what you're looking for and being clear about your long-term values. But there is a significant difference between knowing what you want and front-loading that information into the early stages of a connection in a way that feels urgent and pressured. When a man is still in the process of getting to know you, still discovering who you are and whether this has real potential, hearing detailed plans about timelines, marriage, children, and the specific shape of a future together doesn't communicate confidence. It communicates anxiety. High-value men who are emotionally mature understand that good things build naturally. They're not afraid of commitment. They're allergic to pressure. Let the connection develop at a pace that allows him to become genuinely invested rather than feeling managed into a decision. Mistake number 4, losing your mystery. In the early stages of attraction, one of the most powerful forces at play is curiosity. He wants to know you. He's intrigued by you. He's turning you over in his mind, filling in the gaps, building a picture. And that process of discovery is part of what makes him want to come back. When you share everything, your full history, every trauma, every past relationship, every fear and insecurity within the first week, you collapse that process entirely. There's nothing left to discover. Mystery is not about being cold or withholding. It's about allowing the story of who you are to unfold gradually at a pace that keeps his interest alive and gives him something to look forward to learning. Let him earn the deeper layers. Let him feel like understanding you is a privilege, not a transaction. Mistake number 5, competitive energy. High-value men are often high achievers, and there's a particular kind of dynamic that can develop around that, where a woman, consciously or not, starts to compete with his success, his opinions, or his decisions, needing to win arguments rather than resolve them, subtly one-upping his accomplishments, challenging his choices in a way that reads less like healthy discussion and more like rivalry. Here's what you need to understand. These men already spend most of their lives in competitive, high-pressure environments. The boardroom, the negotiations, the professional world is full of people trying to outperform each other. What they are looking for at home, in a partner, in an intimate relationship, is something entirely different. They want peace. They want a woman whose energy feels like a compliment to theirs, not a challenge to it. Strength and femininity are not opposites. The most magnetic women know how to hold both. Mistake number 6, neglecting self-investment. This one tends to happen gradually, which is why it's so easy to miss. The relationship begins and slowly, almost without noticing, you start to let things slide. The hobby you loved gets pushed aside. The girls' nights become less frequent. The career goals you were working toward take a back seat. You start building your life around his schedule, his preferences, his world. And what you don't realize is that in doing so, you are quietly dismantling the very things that made you interesting to him in the first place. He was attracted to a woman with her own life, her own passions, her own direction. When that woman starts disappearing into the relationship, the attraction follows. Never stop investing in yourself. Not for him, for you. But understand that a woman with a full, rich, self-directed life is infinitely more magnetic than one who has made a man her entire world. Mistake number 7, and this is the one that cuts the deepest. The nice girl syndrome. This is the mistake that feels like the right thing to do. It feels like kindness, like being easy to be with, like not causing problems. You agree with things you don't actually agree with. You go along with plans you don't actually want. You swallow your opinions to keep the peace. You laugh off things that actually bothered you. You have no visible limits because you're afraid that having them will push him away. But here is the psychological truth that most women are never told. High-value men are not looking for a woman who agrees with everything they say. They are looking for a woman with standards, a woman who knows what she will and won't accept, a woman who respects herself enough to say clearly and calmly, "That doesn't work for me." Standards are not a barrier to love. They are the foundation of it. A woman without limits signals on a deep subconscious level that she doesn't fully value herself. And a man who values himself cannot stay long with a woman who doesn't. Avoiding these 7 mistakes is what separates the women men forget from the women men cannot stop thinking about. It's not about being perfect. It's about being self-aware enough to recognize the patterns that are working against you and grounded enough in your own value to change them. Which of these mistakes do you think is the hardest one to avoid? Be honest in the comments because I genuinely want to know. And in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to reverse the situation if he's already started to pull away, what to do, what not to do, and the one move that can shift everything. You don't want to miss that. See you there.